So obviously that's Joshua there talking about how he started out in the game of golf with his mum Marie there, and it is Marie. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Progress Junior Golf with Live Sport Now and England Golf Young Ambassadors. My name's Steve Jackson, and this is Ian Waterhouse.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Steve, as well. I feel like we're really getting into it in 2024 now, aren't we, with the podcast? We had a cracking one a couple of weeks ago with Charlie Hull, didn't we? And now we've got one that I'm very, very excited about, and something actually, Steve, I'm quite passionate about in making sport fun, because we know golf can be a little bit stuffy at times, but there's also a huge amounts of elements of fun, and we're going to touch on that tonight, aren't we?
Absolutely, yeah. This is show number 53, should say. 50. And there is yeah, absolutely, well past the half century now. 53. Now this podcast is about junior golf. It's about getting the next generation of golfers to play in the game of golf, more boys and girls in the game of golf. Now you mentioned the important word there, and it's a word which crops up on a lot of cases when we do these podcasts, and that's the word fun. And in simple terms, we're just going to make this podcast as fun as we possibly can. We're going to try and look at the different ways of making golf fun, which we have done on many occasions throughout the shows that we've done. We've touched upon it kind of thing, but literally this is going to be all about how you make golf fun. We've touched some, as you well know, we've touched some serious subjects in this podcast, and even when we've looked at those serious subjects, we've said one of the ways of trying to make it not quite so serious is to make it fun. So, but as you well know, you've got to get that right away from the start, because if it's serious at the start, so we're going to look at it really from a very, very beginner's point of view here of when you first
started. Steve, when we talk about fun, right, think of every sport, right, every single sport in the world. Is golf, when you hit that pristine strike, let's say you're 120 yards out and you knock it to within like 2 foot of the hole. Is the shot, the perfect shot in golf, or the perfect shot to you, the most satisfying feeling in sport? Like imagine if you're taking a penalty and you score a penalty. Yes, it's a huge rush of excitement, but you are expected to score. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in golf, I think a good golf shot or a great golf shot is probably the most satisfying feeling you can get in sport. Probably more satisfying than maybe whizzing around a corner in Formula One, or scoring a penalty in football, or going on a 20-yard lung-busting run in the NFL or something. Surely a great golf shot is the most satisfying feeling in sport. Let us know, by the way, if you play any other sports watching this, tell us what is the most satisfying feeling. Does anything beat hitting a pristine golf shot in sport? That's what I want to know tonight.
Yeah, and also it happens so rarely. I mean, you mentioned about
that's why. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned about hitting the shot from 120 yards within 2 feet of the flag. When you mentioned that, I was trying to think to myself, when was the last time I did that?
Well, I think I brought it up because I've ever got anywhere near.
But yes, we are going to be talking about fun. And we're literally going to go back to basics. We're going to look at innovation ways. We did do a podcast on innovation, but that was looking at adult golf. This is as well as juniors. This is literally how can we get boys and girls to pick up a golf club, possibly for the first time, and then want to pick it up again. So we're going to look at different ways of doing that, and there are lots of different ways of doing it. And we'll come back to how both myself and yourself first started playing golf as well. And a lot of these ones that we've mentioned here are some of the things which we did when we were youngsters. So looking at crazy golf, we're looking at night golf, we're looking at long putting challenges, putting around blocks and obstacles, golf darts, unusual driving ranges, so all sorts of different things. As always, we've got some guests on the show to help us look at these subjects. We've got pre-recorded interviews with SK Events Hire, Sean Godden and his partner Katrina. We've got Angus Guthrie, who's from Provision Events. They're based out in the UAE. And also we've got Joshua Dirk, who's a junior golfer, and his mum, Marie Dirk. Marie was on the podcast a few weeks ago, and she's back on with her son as well. And also I'm on there as well with my friend Colin Roberts as well. So
Steve.
And if my accountant is watching, if the Inland Revenue are watching, the reason why we're on is because we went to Amsterdam specifically, and that's the only reason we went to Amsterdam specifically for this podcast. So as far as the accountants are concerned, that is the reason why it is going through my accounts for next year. So just remember that.
Too much information there.
Too much information.
Yes. Yeah. So you just invited an Inland Revenue investigation onto you for next.
Absolutely, yes.
So
yes.
January 31st, 2025 will be fun for you.
yes, yeah, could be. Right. So we are going to be covering a lot. Just to give us the background of how people can get involved as usually, and if someone wants to get in touch, we want to hear from you. How do they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. As ever, it's interactive. This is a podcast, but it's a video podcast. As you can see our faces, we want to hear from you. So please get in touch with us. There's a number of ways you can do that. You just comment wherever you're watching this. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn at Live Sport Now, at Progress Junior Golf channels. The best place though is Live Sport Now on YouTube. The reason I say that is because there's a live chat. If you access that live chat, we can see your comments directly in the studio. So it's just there. There's a QR code. Give that a scan. It'll take you straight through to this broadcast right now, but on our YouTube channel. You don't have to. You can still comment on Facebook, Twitter, wherever, etc. That's great too. There is a link in the body of this broadcast as well if you don't want to scan the QR code, which will take you to the Live Sport Now YouTube channel as well. And at any point, if you do want to find out more about Progress Junior Golf, and I implore you to do it, if you do have a junior or you want to find out more, or maybe even want to get in touch to sponsor this podcast, get in touch with that man over there, Steve Jackson. His website is in the text of this broadcast, Progress Junior Golf. The website's also running across the bottom, www.progressjuniorgolf.com. Head on over, get in touch with us, guys. We really want to hear from you tonight. If you've got a question, if you tell us how you started golf, and also tell me if you think that a good golf shot is the most satisfying thing you can do in sport. Steve, over to you.
Now, actually, you mentioned there about getting in touch with me. I am pleased to say that some junior golf tours have been in touch with me in the last few weeks or so as well. They weren't on the Progress Junior Golf podcast, the website, their event. They are now. So there's a new tour which has just started up in Lancashire. So we've got all the details on there, and I think the actual tour is called Junior Fun Golf Tour, which isn't that appropriate for this podcast?
We'll get him on. We'll get him on next time.
Should have got him on for this show, shouldn't we? But
by the way, if Starbucks want to sponsor this podcast, we would welcome it. Other coffee shops are available as well.
Yes. Or if someone wants to do my accounts for me, if they were willing to do that, anyway, no, let's not go down that road. Right, first things first, then let's do the junior golf news. Ian, it's been fantastic weather, hasn't it, recently? So there's been thousands of competitions taking place over the last few weeks or so.
Yeah, no, loads. I mean, funny enough, we had a chat, didn't we, before coming on air, and we were like, I don't know, we could do an hour just for the junior golf news, but no. It's not been good, has it, Steve? It's going to be a short section, this, I think.
Yes, the news section is probably going to be the shortest one that we've done. In fact, we aren't going to be covering any competition news. And actually, that's kind of deliberate as well, because we're going to be talking about fun golf today in the podcast. And fun golf, sometimes competition cannot be fun. It can be separated. I mean, it is fun at times. So we're not going to do any competitions. We're not going to talk about any competitions. We are going to talk about just one event, though, which is taking place in the news section. The England Golf, they've got a match coming up against Spain next month in April. They've named their squad, so it's a mixed team. It's an under-16s match. There are the 8 players who are going to be involved then. Takes place at La Galena Golf Resort in Valencia, April the 7th or April the 6th or 7th. So the players on that list then, I'm not exactly sure who's who on there, but I'll just read out the names who are going to be playing. So the girls who are going to be playing: Lauren Crump, Ellie Lichtenstein, Charlotte Norton and Annabelle Peaford. Some names there have been mentioned on many occasions on the podcast in recent weeks and months. And the boys: Alex Bowes, Josh Gardner. I know Josh is on the top right-hand corner. Actually, got to make a laugh there. Josh is took loads of photos of him over the weeks and years, and they've done well there, England Golf, to get a photo of Josh there, because he normally pulls a funny face when he hits a golf shot. So they've done well there to get a good photo of Josh. Frankie Morton and Charlie Rusbridge make up the squad. Actually, Charlie's playing really well this year. He's already won this year. He won on the Faldo Elite Tour over in Portugal in January. Actually, a couple of Essex golfers there, so Essex must have a very strong up-and-coming boys team there, so well done to them. The performance director Stephen Burnett has said that this match is being used as an opportunity to give the younger players the chance to test their games against a really strong opposition. So best of luck to them when they play in Spain.
And I can say as well, you just mentioned Faldo Series. Very special friend of the podcast, Aaron Cox. His club, Blackwell Grange, is now going to be used as a qualifying event for the Faldo Series Elite event. So congratulations to Aaron. Great job. I know he's got a good relationship with Matthew anyway. So and all the other clubs as well involved. I just saw that post from Blackwell Grange and thought I just wanted to give it a mention, because I know it very well. I'm up there at least once every single year to do the Blackwell Grange Pro-Am every year. There's about 140 odd golfers playing in it. It's a huge event. We think it's the largest Pro-Am that takes place in the northeast of England every single year. So great work again by Aaron Cox, a former, of course, England golf coach of the year, or young coach of the year.
Yeah, let's just clarify that actually, because it's not an elite tour event with the Faldo Series. They've really launched it this year, a futures tour. So they've got
that's it. Yeah,
local qualifiers at various golf clubs across the country. I think they've got about 40 or 50 now set up. I know that the Warwickshire Golf Club is actually going to be the first one. I think it's on around about March the 29th, something around about that day, certainly late March. And then they pretty much got almost like one a day over the next, particularly over the Easter period. So all local qualifiers. Then they go through to a regional qualifier, which presumably will take place perhaps one in the Midlands, one up the northeast, one in the northwest, down south as well. And then the winners of that, or the better players within that, will then go through to a grand final, which takes place at the Belfry. And that coincides with the British Masters, which takes place, which of course, Sir Nick Faldo is the ambassador sponsor for that event. So hence the reason why they're trying to all tie it all in together. And they're all aimed all under 12. So anyone who's under the age of 12 plays in these competitions. As you well know, Ian, they have the Faldos have a junior tour, which generally speaking is up to the age of 18. Then they have what's the elite tour, and that's tends to be up to the age of 25. So they really are separating them, and it's very clever the way that they're doing it. So the way that the younger golfers to try and get them into the game, give them the opportunity to play. The slightly better players, the ones up to the 18, give them the opportunity to play in some world handicap qualifiers, and then those ones up to the age of 25 who good players, but giving them the chance to get Challenge Tour starts and Access Tour starts, Ladies European Tour starts as well. So really aiming at all the different age groups. So well done to Matthew Faldo, so Nixon, doing a great job there. So
Matthew, if you're watching, I'm still waiting for my invite to the grand final from last year, let alone this year.
Do you want me to tell you where I'm also going with the Faldo Series? In June, I'm going out to Latvia to cover their event over in Latvia
very nice.
In June. So you never know, we might do a podcast on Latvian junior golf. Who knows? I'm
going to get in touch with Matthew, because if he needs a tea boy, I've always fancy going to Latvia. So
Right, that wraps up then the junior golf news. Like I say, not too much to cover this week, and the next podcast we're going to look ahead to the season, because we're going to be, as you well know, it's the Sunnydale Foursomes this week, which traditionally is the start of the golf season, as you well know, Ian.
It is, Steve. Yes, forget the Masters, it's all about the Sunnydale Foursomes. And actually, funny enough, we were there last year, weren't we? I was due to film there last year. It got rained off, of course. I'm not there
snowed
this
off,
year.
Not rain, was
snowed
it?
Off, yeah, it was snow, wasn't it? But I do know Andy Crook's up there, and I was talking to him yesterday. He's the official photographer. It came close. Close to losing it yesterday as well, but I'm pleased to say it's going ahead.
Yes, good. So that's that. Hopefully, we might have some juniors who are doing very well in that. We'll see how they go on. But we'll for the news next time, in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to look ahead to the season, look ahead to some of those big events, let you know where some of the big events are taking place. They are all on the Progress Junior Golf website if you do want to find out. So the Indian Championship, the Boys Championship, Girls Championship, Scottish, Welsh, Irish, all the big events taking place. They all are on there, but we'll do a proper preview in the next podcast. Right, that wraps up the news then. We are going to be covering golf today, and we're not going to talk about competitions, are we, Ian?
No,
we are going to
we're going to have fun. Woo,
we're going to have some fun. Yes, yes. Right. So we are going to be looking at junior golf is fun, and junior golf is fun. But it all has to start somewhere. We all have to start off somewhere. And let's be honest, when we first started playing golf, Ian, we were hopeless at it. We had no idea what we were doing. We didn't know one end of the golf club from the other. And you had to learn, how to do it.
Some of us never learned, but yeah.
Well, this is it. Absolutely. Yeah. Some of us are still as bad as we are. And actually, we will find that out later on in this show, how bad some of us are still 30 odd years later after they first started playing the game of golf.
Stay tuned. Looks like we're going to see a shot from Steve. Get duck, everyone.
Yes, absolutely. Right. But we all have to start somewhere then. So let's get one of our guests on first of all. Let's find out how he started. So Joshua Dirk. He's a junior golfer in Warwickshire. His mum was on a few weeks ago talking about how you prepare for a golf season. She came back on with her son Joshua, and this is how he started out. This is what Joshua had to say.
Golf about 5-6 years ago now.
So how old would you have been then?
About around 8, I would have said.
Okay. And why? Was there a fun element to it which made you want to play?
Well, my granddad was always into golf, so I decided to try it out, and I had a couple lessons at his course, and then I found Hannah at Robin Hood, so I had some lessons there, and then I just started having lessons weekly, and I had fun with golf, and since then I've moved to Arran, and we've now found ourselves at Stonebridge, and I think I enjoy it.
Now, when you say you found it fun, what things did the coaches do to try and make it more fun for you?
My coach now, Aaron, he makes it so lessons are not just like at school, you're just learning. You're learning in like a active way where you're actually playing golf and like experiencing the techniques.
I've seen you at Stonebridge on the putting green, whereby you have, drills almost like whereby you have like almost obstacle courses whereby you're going putting. Is that something which you've experienced?
Yeah, so in some of the putting lessons that we have, Aaron will get out some like obstacles that we need to either put through or put over or put under to increase like our levels of accuracy and also putting distance.
And from your point of view, Marie, how important was it, that fun element when he first started playing, to try and get the bug?
Yeah, absolutely. Because he was still very young, it was nice that they made it fun games and they didn't take it too seriously. And then they were with their friends as well. So it was nice as a social gathering as well as a lesson.
Did you know that before you went there? Did you had recommendations as far as that was concerned?
Yeah, so Hannah Crump went into Joshua's school and did a term of PE lessons teaching them golf. And then she mentioned to a couple of parents that she coached at Robin Hood. And then we went for a taster session on a Saturday afternoon. And then we signed up with her. And then she moved to Hatchwood Brook with Aaron Lansbury about a year later.
So obviously that's Joshua there talking about how he started out in the game of golf with his mum Marie there. And it is Marie Dirk. I know on the bottom left there it does say Marie Turlington. That was her pre-married name kind of thing. That did confuse me when I looked at that and thought, oh, I'm sure I was talking to Marie Dirk. Anyway, there you go. That's how obviously Joshua got started there. It's interesting as well talking about when they were doing the coaching and the putting with even with his coaches now. How they do like games with obstacles and all that thing on the putting green as well. That's something you've seen as well, isn't it, Ian?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of it, and it's really good. I remember when I first started playing, my first experience of playing golf was actually at Fleet Pitch and Putt in Hampshire, and to be honest, it was a bit too much for me. Do you know what I mean? It was only a small pitch and putt, but I can't have been. He was saying he was 5, 6 when he first started in coaching from 8. I must have been about 6 or 7. And just getting the ball in the air for me felt like a success. I needed proper coaching because it was a bit too much for me. However, it was actually my sister was the better golfer from a younger age. She was really good. She actually got sponsored by Farnham Golf Club as well and had lessons down there and did really good. and then sort of just drifted away from it really. But that element of when you first start, it's like when you first kick a football, isn't it? Just to see it go in the air. It doesn't really matter where it goes. It doesn't really matter how far it goes. It's just seeing it go in the air. But if you can create a game of that, you'll repeat it. And if you repeat it more, you'll keep doing it more, and you'll start to enjoy it more, and it'll be more fun. And then you'll stay playing the game. And I thought I've seen a lot of that. And I think over the last, you've probably seen it as well, Steve, probably over the last 20, 30 years, the way that golf for youngsters has turned to being a little bit more fun. Because when I was a kid, it was pitch and putt. It was mini golf, or crazy golf, which wasn't really, it's not really golf, is it? It's a bit of a giggle. But it's an introduction, I suppose. But then the next step was just pitch and putt. And there wasn't really anything else. Do you know what I mean? It was like, well, you go down a driving range, but it's basically the same as a pitch and putt. So, certainly at that age.
Now, I started out, I started playing golf actually properly on a golf course when I was about 10. But my first memory of playing golf is crazy golf and playing on, and I think going to Newquay or Torquay or somewhere like that, and doing on one of the putting greens, just to put into a flag or whatever, and all that type of thing as well. But that's not just for junior golfers as well. That's for adult golfers as well. And it's something which I did recently. We mentioned a little earlier. I went out to Amsterdam and we went and did, with a friend, we went and did crazy golf. And we did it. Hey, let's not explain it. Let's show the video. And then well, but I don't think I was allowed to do any video in there. But let's show the video of the crazy golf, and then we'll have a chat about that.
Right, so Steve, let me jump in there. I'm assuming that one was your scorecard. Was that also you having an absolute mare getting up that fort there?
No, actually, that was my mate kind of thing. That was the only video footage I've got of him making a complete mess of the hole. He actually beat me by a lot, kind of thing. But like you say, I was the one who got the 2 hole-in-ones there. So I'm the one who can say I got 2 hole-in-ones. But that's crazy golf, isn't it? The fact that let me tell you how many times my friend has played an 18-hole round of golf.
But
never played 18 holes of golf.
I'm going to come on to that though, because I know this is about junior golf, and it's very, very relevant. That's great fun, and we see that all over the UK. I've got an 8-year-old. I take him up the range. I haven't taken him on a proper course yet, but I take him up the range. He loves whacking the golf balls. We'll come on to the range stuff soon. But we also take him crazy golf. Now, when I was a kid, and you'll be the same, the only place you could play crazy golf was normally you'd have to blow all the leaves away, and the green was horrible and frayed, or it was rough patches everywhere. Now you've got Putt Shack, which are amazing. You've got that place. They're everywhere, aren't they? Basically, crazy golf places like that, and in the UK as well. Absolutely everywhere.
Now, as far as my account is concerned, there's none in the UK. That you have to go to Amsterdam. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, according to Steve's accountant and the Inland Revenue, there are tons in the UK. I've been to a lot of them as well, and they are amazing fun. But it's a gimmick entertainment, isn't it? You know, Putt Shack, for example, in London, people go on a night out, so they're not going to play the sport as such. They're going to get drunk and have a laugh. And you just said there, your mate has never played on a proper golf course. So how do we convert people from just having a bit of a giggle on mini golf to actually playing the sport properly?
Absolutely, yeah. Look, obviously, I've got video footage there myself and my friend Colin playing there. There was a big queue of juniors or teenagers, youngsters, waiting to play when we got there, kind of thing. Obviously, I couldn't video them doing what they were doing, kind of thing. But of all the people who were in that place at that time,
you do what you want in Amsterdam, Steve.
Well, 95% of the people who were using that facility at the time were youngsters, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the point is, and you made the point there, I would be hopeful, but I would also be surprised how many of them on the back of that would go, I want to go and play on an 18-hole golf course. But it's the first step. It was my first step.
Probably 90% of the people there had never even set foot on a driving range. You know?
No, probably not. No, but it was good fun. That was the point. It was an introduction. It was one whereby you could say, and also as you saw there with my friend, you get it. You mentioned a little earlier about that first time when you hit a golf shot and it goes in the air, getting the ball in the hole. Wow.
Yeah.
That's that. I mean, we saw the footage there. My friend, not one in from 7 or 8 feet, kind of thing, right in the middle of the hole, kind of thing. And that feeling of, hey, I can play this game, kind of thing. And then when you get out and actually play the proper game, it's a bit more difficult.
But I don't want to be a downer on it, because what I'm trying to say is there is a bridging gap, actually, and we'll touch on it a little bit later, between playing crazy golf and having just a laugh to the next step of still having a laugh with your mates and a beer and a bit of food, but actually getting a ball in the air and whacking it. And we'll come on that later. Actually,
we'll come on to it now then, because let's talk about getting the ball in the air. And there are all ways of doing that. You can go out onto like you mentioned, you go on a pitch and putt, you can go onto a main golf course. But a fun way of doing it is to play golf darts. I don't know if you've ever seen these golf dart boards that you can have. So I spoke to a company who runs one of these. They hire them out to golf clubs, to fun fairs, to all sorts of different places. It's a company called SK Hire. So I spoke to Sean Godden and partner Katrina. This is what they had to say about what they offer, how they go about doing it, and the kind of effects and reaction they get from kids and also adults when they do take part in this. This is what they had to say.
Kinds of stuff we do for events and like a lot of golf clubs and stuff. We've done sort of all over the UK. We offer a dartboard which you can play golf on, which we have mini golf as well, which is a full 9-hole course. What else have we got?
You've got your putting machine.
Putting machine. The ultimate putting machine that has like 72 different greens. So it's like electronic and it moves to like each different green. So you've got 72 different holes.
And the 2 dartboards, we've got 2 different sizes. We've got a 16-foot, or you can have 10-foot. But the 16-foot's very popular.
May sound a silly question, but how does it work with the darts? I mean, are the balls the same as a normal golf ball? How do they work? How do they stick to the board?
Yeah, so basically they're little Velcro balls. They're just a little bit bigger than a golf ball. We used to have tennis ball sized ones, but we managed to locate some smaller ones which are a bit better, and they're rubber. You just hit with normal clubs, and you can play many different games on there. So you can go around the clock, like normal darts, games, or just go for the highest score, wherever you please.
What kind of reaction do you get from the kids when they're playing it?
Oh, they love it. Yeah. Everywhere we've sort of done, all events, all the kids and all that play, they love it. It's just something that's a little unusual and different. Makes it a bit more fun,
Yeah, they're amazed by how the ball sticks to the board.
Generally speaking, are these people who are playing it, are they complete beginners, or are the people who have played golf before?
Yeah, literally it can be anything. Yeah, all from beginners to professionals and stuff. So it's all, anyone can play it really. So we've had a lot of kids, we do a lot of schools and stuff as well. We actually do a couple of golf courses as well. We do Perfect Lakes. We do captain's days and stuff as we're there, and staff events.
This podcast obviously is about junior golf, but I'm just intrigued by your comment there about professional golfers. Are they any good at it?
Yeah and no.
Yeah.
I think it's harder to aim because it's more about sort of chipping the ball onto the board. I think it's quite a bit different to hitting a hole, so it makes it a bit more fun. But once you've had a couple of swings and stuff, you get used to it and like get the hang of it. We went to one golf course and someone tried it and thought, oh yeah, I'll give it a go. They hit it straight over the top in the 16-foot high. So yeah, so it makes it a bit fun.
You mentioned there about the scoring, and obviously, a normal game of darts. If you have 3 shots, so 180 is your top score. What from your memory? What's the best score that you've ever seen?
Yeah, on the golf, it's about 90 something. I think someone got.
And how often is that?
Very rare. To try and hit a triple, it's a bit of luck. But yeah, the smaller one, we've got the 10-foot one, which is more manageable because you can go a bit closer and you can chip it, makes it more fun. But the 16-foot one is like really high, so it's like, yeah, everyone tries to go for the top and we have to try and get it down. We like use a hook thing, like to get the balls down. And yeah, so
now we mentioned, or you mentioned there about different players who played the game before and people who had, and professionals, people who hadn't played the game before. What kind of ages do you get? What's the youngest you've ever had trying it?
Yeah, about 9-10ish.
Yeah.
We've got smaller clubs,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have a range of clubs. So yeah, we've had like younger ones, 9, 10, up to adults.
And obviously this, like I say, this podcast is about junior golf. It's trying to make golf more fun and trying to attract more people to the game. Have you had people who've walked away and gone, almost overheard their conversations with their parents and gone, I'd like to play golf for real? Have you had that? Have you heard that conversation before?
We mainly get, when we take our mini golf, they say that obviously you can only go to crazy golfs and pay. They've never seen sort of a crazy golf at a fun fair or a summer fair or something like that. But I don't know if we've ever really had anyone saying that they'd like to go and play like after they've played. They all say how fun it is and how different it is, and I don't know. I suppose we're so busy we don't hear people's conversations. They're just
because we're on to the next customer as soon as they've gone. Yeah, because we have like queues, like when we do events and that. Yeah, it is like quite busy, as you can imagine.
Obviously, we're talking about golf here. What are the different other sports do you do with this type of thing?
Yeah, we do football on it.
Yeah.
We're Nerf's popular. We do Nerf as well. You've got Nerf guns that you shoot at the thing. A lot of kids love that as well. But yeah, so we try to do a variety for everyone.
I've seen tennis as well, but people do it with tennis as well. Is that one other option?
Yeah, tennis. That's only gone out once for the tennis club we done. So that's not very popular. Yeah, that's not too popular. But all the other ones, definitely the football and the golf is the main top ones that go out.
Okay, right. So there's a golf club watching this, or a golf organisation. They've got a golf day. How do they get in touch with you? How do they book you? This is your opportunity. Sell yourself. Tell them how people can get involved.
Right, so yeah, everything's all on our website. You can find that at www.skeventhire.co.uk, and literally everything is all on there. There's an email, phone number. You can just get in contact us that way.
Sean and Katrina from SK Hire. So, is it something you've done? Played golf darts, Ian?
No, I haven't. But actually, something that we haven't got a video on tonight, but something that I have done, which is linked, is foot golf. And,
yes.
I imagine sort of similar-ish. I suppose you do use a full golf course and foot golf, because I love my football as well. That is actually a really good way of getting people out on a golf course to experience it. Because if you just do that, you'll start kicking the ball about and you'll start thinking, well, maybe I could do this with a golf club and a ball as well. Same with the darts. I think that's great. I've never done it. I've seen people do it before. I've seen videos of it. Doesn't majorly appeal to me, to be honest. but I am a 38-year-old male. I'd rather go down the range and whack some golf balls as far as I can. but I know my 8-year-old would absolutely love it. Coupled with, I mean, that's a birthday party, isn't it? That's a kid's birthday party, that thing. A bit of golf darts and the Nerf guns and everything. That David, you stick a bunch of kids in a sports hall with that for an hour, you got yourself a birthday party.
No, I've never done it, but let's hear from someone who has done it then. So when we were talking to Joshua earlier, he had done it. So let's hear what his experience of it was.
With like like Velcro.
Yes.
Like the dartboard was Velcroed, and then you had like a Velcro ball, and you try and hit it. But instead of it being like a dartboard, it was like almost like a body armor thing.
Oh, okay.
That Aaron would get like a helper to put on, and then you just hit balls at them.
Oh, okay. He got someone else to be the person to get balls to hit.
So they would have like a rugby helmet, and that would have like stuff on, and then you'd have stuff on the body, and they'd be moving around, and you'd have to try and hit it onto them.
So once again, that's something which you wouldn't normally do on a golf course, aim at someone. No. So that must be a little bit different, and also fun as well.
Yeah.
And also from a parent's point of view, and from Aaron's point of view, or whoever it is who's in that, what kind of reaction do they, when someone's pelting I mean, I know it's perhaps a softball, but someone's pelted a ball at them, how do they react?
I mean, I think when I didn't put the suit on, but when the first time I actually like hit a ball at the person, I think they'd done it before, so they realised the impact of the ball hitting you didn't really hurt, so they didn't really worry about it.
But if you were first
time, but if your first time, it could be probably I guess nerve-wracking to see, because you don't want a golf ball hitting you on the course.
I think that's the line. You don't want a golf course. Absolutely, there's the line of the podcast. You don't want a golf ball hitting you on a golf course, kind of thing. But I got to admit, when I did the interview, and even now when I'm watching it back, it made me smile, the fact that we're talking about fun golf here for juniors and making it fun for them. But what about for that person who's organising that, and the person in that suit? That must be fantastic fun for them to watch these kids hitting golf balls at them, kind of thing. Just completely different, isn't it?
Sounds terrifying, Steve, actually. A bunch of kids hitting golf balls at you, even if you are in a big suit. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. And that is a laugh, isn't it? That is fun. They'll get carried away. They want to try and hit the head, which means they've got to get the ball elevated and get it into the air. And they'll remember that as well. And I think that's important. They'll remember, because the next step from there is, oh, did you enjoy that, son or daughter? Like, oh, yeah, that was so much fun. Or would you like to maybe come down to the range with me on Sunday? We'll just knock a few balls, just have a bit of a giggle, have a bit of a laugh. That's the next step, isn't it? We were talking about from where do you go from crazy golf? Maybe you go to darts to get the ball in the air, and then maybe from there you then go to the range or wherever you want to go from there. But yeah, being in a suit with a load of kids trying to hit me with a golf ball sounds terrifying.
Yes, I must admit, I wouldn't necessarily do it myself, but there you go. Right, now we've obviously spoken SK Events about with their hiring system, whereby golf clubs can bring them in and things like that. There are other places whereby you can see golf and see these types of attractions as well. And one of them is at tour events. Now, I was delighted that I went to the DP World Tour finals last year out in the UAE, and while I was there, they had a long putting challenge. Have you seen one of these here?
Yeah, they do. I go to, I'm sure a lot of people watching, I go to the BMW PGA Wentworth every year, and they do it. And actually, tournaments have a lot to play in this as well, because they're very good. I've been to a couple of live events. They're excellent. The exhibition stuff that they've got going on. And the DP World Tour do it very good as well. The BMW PGA has all of this sort of stuff as well. They have a bunker, which is, I don't know, it's like a 10-foot high bunker or something. You've got to try and get, well, maybe not quite that, but 8 foot. You've got to try and get out of it and stuff like that. They have a long putt right down the central aisle. Just as you come in on the main entrance, you walk down and there's always a massive queue of people. I mean, you win a really good prize. I can't remember what it is, but you might win a full set of Titleists or something. It's a really decent prize that you can, or a holiday to Portugal, golf holiday to Portugal. So tours have a responsibility. My experience that these events do it really well, and long putt is always a key feature of that.
So let's talk to the person who was running that. It's a company called Provisional Events. Angus Guthrie is the main man there. This is what he had to say about the long putting challenge.
Provision Events, we're a sports and events activation agency, so we work with rights holders, agencies, brands and everyone in between to build anywhere from small brand activations all the way up to providing full-scale fan zones. We do this all over the world, predominantly work in the world of golf, but we also cover a few other sports as well, rugby, cricket, football, you name it. We've been involved in most sports.
Specifically with golf,
yeah,
the putting challenge, the long putts.
Yes.
Different concept though to the normal long putt, shall we say? So just explain how that works.
So we've obviously adapted our long putt challenge. We've been doing the long putt for a number of years now, and here at sort of the DP World we've sort of certainly taken it to the next level. So we've worked creatively to come up with a slightly different concept, add in a few extra elements that you see on the long putt that we've got here, from the bridge at the start to the crane at the end, and sort of really elevated that experience for the fans.
And even the initial idea, just the long putt, that was exciting for kids in particular as well. So what you've added makes it even better.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we found every year that we do it, we have to try and up what we did the year before. Certainly we'll see what happens next year. Who knows what's on the cards for 2024.
So just give us an idea of the reaction you get, in particular from juniors, and when they see what you've got.
Oh, they love it. They absolutely love it. It's we do a number of different activations at events all over the world, but for some reason the long putt generally tends to be the one that people enjoy the most. I think once you add a slightly competitive element to it, and then when you add the branding and the props and bring that to life, the kids absolutely love it as well. I think they would, if they could, they would be on it all day and would probably never leave.
And obviously it is golf, at the end of the day, putting is part of the game, so it's something whereby you are even teaching the game in a fun way as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for us, we obviously work with the two, but it's about just getting golf clubs in kids' hands and people's hands, and whatever sort of form that takes. I think the most important thing is that they've got a golf club in hand and they're having fun. And so something like this adds a nice fun element to it. You're not obviously necessarily on the golf course, but it's still golf, and as I said, kids absolutely love it.
And I'm guessing you get people here who may not even played the game before.
Yes. Well, again, the beauty of it, anybody can play. You give them a golf club, they get a couple of goes, and it doesn't take too much golf skill to be able to take part in something like this.
Well, you say it doesn't take too much skill. I haven't seen too many people holding too many putts on it.
Oh, that is true. I've certainly not held one myself either. We've had a few, but as I said, it doesn't take too much skill.
What about prize-wise then? Or how does the format work? Do you get 3 attempts? How does it work?
So you get 2 goes, and then if you get it in, we've got a range of prizes to give away. So this year we've got water bottles, we've got caps, we've got boot bags or golf shoe bags to give away as well. And everyone that takes part also gets a little giveaway. So we've got some tees and some ball markers as well to give away to everyone that takes part.
And obviously I've mentioned the fact that it's aimed at juniors, but obviously adults can have a go as well.
Again,
parents.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, that's the beauty of it. It caters for everybody, all skills, all levels, all abilities, all ages. It's perfect for anybody to have a go and have a bit of fun. And
we're obviously here for the DP World Tour Finals. Have you had any of the top pros have a crack at it?
Not yet. I don't think so. I don't think we've had anyone down. Certainly in other events that we've done before, we've had some of the pros down before. I'm not sure they've been down yet.
Are they any good at it? Be honest.
If I'm honest with you, I don't think there's much science to it. It's completely potluck, if I'm being honest.
Just to give us an idea then of if someone wants to contact you, of how they can set one up at an event that they're doing, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, of course. There's a couple of ways they can jump on our website. So as I said, we're Provision Events, so if you type in Provision Events into Google, will come up. All our contact details are there. If you want to reach out to me personally, you can get me at Angus at provisionevents.co.uk. That's probably the best way to get in touch. Drop us a line, and we'd love to help out if anyone else wants to do something similar.
So that was the long putt challenge there. It reminds me of the first time I'd ever seen it as well, it was just a basic one, if you like. There was no obstacles in the way. It was just a very, very long putt kind of thing. And there was probably about 50, 60 people watching. and this guy holed it, and he did the hacker. And it was like, wow, the spectacle of him holding it and then doing the hacker in front of everyone was just like, and after he'd finished, as you can imagine, everyone massive round of applause, cheering kind of thing, and I remember that. I mean, that was probably about 15, 20, 30 years ago that I remember seeing that kind of thing. Same kind of experience for those kids at the DP World Tour. They probably remember that more than they would do watching Rory or someone else, John Rahm or whatever out on the golf course. They probably remember that more than the actual day.
They would certainly go to school the following Monday and tell everybody about holding the long putt rather than the fact that they were 3 feet away from Rory McIlroy, because half the other kids would be like, "Who's Rory McIlroy?" Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know a funny story actually? Well, not particularly funny story, but I got married in 2017, and me and my wife, now wife, she was fiance then, we actually looked at hiring out a long putt or a little crazy putt for our wedding, but then we ended up getting married in October. We couldn't guarantee the weather, so we didn't bother. But yeah, that is so much fun. Like I said before, I see that sort of thing every year at Wentworth. They have that, but they don't have it like that. I was actually really impressed with the theme, the construction theme. I thought that was really cool. The long putt at Wentworth, it's a really good one, don't get me wrong, but it's a standard sort of grass and a bit of rough on the edges and sort of the painted yellow to represent the bunker and stuff like that. But with the theme, I thought that was so cool. That construction theme, I mean, that is absolute. That's how you're going to draw kids in, isn't it? That type of thing was awesome. And
like Angus mentioned there, each year they have to up it. They have to make it, So if I think I am going to be going back again this year.
With that. You can run with that, can't you? Forever. Like, okay, yes, you've got a standard sort of green and things, and that will never get old, of course. But that takes a long putt, which is fun anyway, but then adds another layer of difference and excitement and fun to it. Perhaps more for the kids. As an adult, I'm quite happy. I don't really care. Long putt is a long putt. I'll give it a go. I'll have a go. I'll probably miss, but I'll still give it a go. But if my 8-year-old was wanting to do it, if he had a choice of doing the one at Wentworth or that one, he'd do that one because of the theme, because it's fun,
Okay, I've got an idea then for next year for them to do night golf. So let's talk about night golf then. What is night golf then? We've got a video, and then we're going to hear someone who did play in this competition. It took place on the Shires Junior Golf Tour. Here's the Instagram video, and then we'll hear from the players who played in it.
I love night golf.
Absolutely. And for all those people who are wondering, that was on fast forward. They don't really swing it that fast.
Yeah, can I say that was taken from Instagram as well, that video. So it might have been a little bit stretched. So the top section might have just been cut off a little bit. But do go check out night golf. I'm sure you have. I mean, we're probably teaching you to suck eggs here, but it is so much fun. It really is.
Well, let's hear from someone who played in it then, because Joshua played in it, Joshua Dirk. Let's hear what he had to say about the event and how much fun he had.
Really different. Not only was I playing a course I've never played before, but you're playing in completely different conditions. You've got no light. You can't see the entire course. On my occasion, our lights kept dying, so it just got darker and darker. And it was really fun to just just see the course in a different light.
Or dark.
Or dark, yeah.
Now, obviously, it was a competition, but how much were you actually treating it as a competition? Were you just treating it as a just a completely different experience?
I was treating it as a bit of practice, mainly just for team building, I guess. Like, say, if you're playing a Texas Scramble, which it was, you've got to know how your players play. So, say if you've got a shot and you don't suit the actual style of the shot, you can just get it to a safe position and then ask your teammate, "Hey, just go for the green."
So just explain how it works then, because for people who've never played night golf before, what is it? What's the ball? How can you see the ball at night?
So instead of it being like an actual golf ball, it will be a shaped golf ball, but there'll be a light that is and when you hit it, it lights up and it stays lit for a certain amount of time. And it's really cool if you haven't hit it yet. Put it on a tee, driver, and you just see it go up, and it turns on when it goes up.
I mean, that must be a great experience to seeing a ball go off into the distance, because in theory you're not going to lose it because it's obviously lit at night. And was that the case? Did you lose many balls out there?
I lost one because it went in the water.
Well, you should know about that.
But that was a hole. The light died, so we didn't. I couldn't see the water. So I was like, you know what? I'll just hit it straight down, and it must have been the wind, because I had hit it a nice straight shot and it just kept going up, and then it just went to the left, and then all I heard was a. I was like, okay.
So from your point of view, Marie, you obviously walked around with Josh when he was doing this. Was that your first experience of it?
So Joshua played with night golf with Ignite last February, but it was shortened holes and they only played 4 holes for them to play.
And that was the only time you played, because Craig was with me on the actual shot.
It was the first time he had played 9 holes. I thought it was great because they all worked as a team. And yeah, I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
And Joshua's putting was fantastic on the night. That was very good.
Yeah.
I should add, you did pick up a prize, so it wasn't so. Although it was fun, you did do okay, didn't you? Actually, from a parent's point of view, though, you obviously must have been talking to some of the other parents who were involved in your particular team, and perhaps some of the other teams as well. What was the reaction of the other parents?
I think because obviously they relied on us for the torches, so we had to be probably more than in the daylight. We were having to watch the balls more for them and help them a little bit more, because as Joshua said, a lot of them hadn't played at the course, and to play in the dark and help them really and caddy for them, whereas in the daytime we ball spot, but we had to help them a little bit more in the evening.
And what kind of reaction did the parents have afterwards about it? Did they think it was fun?
Yeah, everyone I've spoke to thought it was fantastic. The kids all had a great time, especially seeing the balls lit up, and especially when they're driving and they're seeing them in the air. Yeah, they all thought it was fantastic.
So that was the night golf. That was Josh, who played on the night golf with the Shires Junior Golf Tour, and Mum Marie actually wasn't there for the Shires event, but like she'd been for a previous one with Josh as well. Have you ever played it? Have you ever tried it, Ian?
Yeah, absolutely love it. It's really good fun. Like I say, you can't really see a great deal, but there is a bit of light, and it's just wicked seeing the balls pin off. It's just a gimmick. It's something unique. It's something a little bit different. It's not. It is golf, but it's not the golf in a true element, a spirit of the game. But it's just another way to have a bit of fun with it.
And it's probably a little step on, isn't it? The crazy golf is one whereby a complete beginner can turn up. With something like night golf, you probably need to be able to play the game a little bit more and a little bit further development.
But if you can't, you move on to the other thing, the bridging thing that I've been coming to the whole time. We've obviously had, haven't we? We've had crazy golf, which is really beginner. That's where everybody can just knock a little club around, have a bit of fun. Darts, which is also good fun, the long putt as well. But there is a bridger which takes you from having a bit of a laugh on mini golf, crazy golf, before you get to the main course, Where do you go, Steve? You go to the range.
You go to the golf. You go to the range. You do, yes. I was wondering where you were going with that. Go to the bar.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah, that would be fun.
And the range. You're right there. The golf range or the practice area, whichever way you want to call it. Sometimes it can get a bit of a bad reputation, can't it? Because sometimes it can be, it can be dull. It can be not particularly exciting. Let's hear from Josh here, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this, about the golf range that he faces when he goes to his golf club at Stonebridge. Because it's fair to say, and we'll ask you the question when we finish here, I've never been to one like it anywhere else in the country. Let's hear about it, because this is different. This is what Josh has to say about his golf course.
Shots, it's going downhill. About 100 yards in, it goes just to a lake. And there's like the targets in the lake. There's a raised kind of like level where there's like bins where you can try and get the ball to go in, which is difficult to do. I haven't done it yet, but I find it good because it's like, say if you want to try and get to a specific point, you're like, oh, I need to get this level out of the water. I need to try and get it over the water, which is 215 yards, I think, to get it completely over. But then as well, when for like younger golfers, it's like, oh, trying to get in the water. If I do that, then that's really good.
Describe when you first went there. Was your reaction, what, really? I'm allowed to hit it in the water?
Well, I hadn't been on the course much when we first moved. So when hitting into the water, it did feel a bit strange because normally in golf you try to avoid all like the water and bunkers, but trying to hit it into the water, it gives you basically a wider variety of trying to hit like a target.
I suppose the one thing you don't get when you're trying to hit it into water, you don't get any run on the ball, do you?
No, but the good thing about Stonebridge is it uses TrackMan, which calculates the carry, which is obviously where the ball lands, and then it will calculate by the speed and like how you've hit the ball. It will calculate the like total.
So at least in theory, you would know how far you hit it, even though you saw a big splash, and obviously that's the end of that ball, if you sort of mean.
Yes, yeah.
And for you, Marie, when you first went there and you first saw the range, were you surprised about what you saw? Because it's unusual, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I was like, wow, because obviously they've got this big fountain in the middle, and then they've got targets you can aim to. So it was like absolutely brilliant. The fact that it was good for your accuracy as well, and aiming at a target, because even before the water, there's targets you can aim at. And it's good for your direction for your golf.
So with you, Josh, you say it's about 215 yards to clear it. Have you cleared it yet?
No. I'm hoping by the end of this year I can at least make it to the fountain, which is 200 yards in. So basically my goal for this year is to try and get my distance up.
But you say it's about 100 yards to get to the water. So there must have been a point when you first went there whereby you couldn't even reach the water. Was that fair?
Yeah. So...
So how did it feel with that first ever time that you ever got it in the water then?
I felt really like accomplished. Like I'd actually like improved with my golf. Like, because I was hitting it maybe just barely before the water and then keep going lessons, and it would just keep moving until it finally went in.
And in a strange way, when you go out on a golf course and you see water, does it kind of like say to you, so what? I'm it doesn't hold any fear because I'm so used to hitting it in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't say as much. I wouldn't talk for my mom, but for me, if I see water, I just, unless it's like in a comp where I need to care about my shots and like trying to get the lowest score. If I'm just going to play golf for fun, I'll have a shot over the water, try to, from where my ball either lands, try not to lay up, trying to go for it, trying to clear it. And if I don't, I'll just drop a ball and just keep going.
Now, you are the junior organizer there, Marie, at Stonebridge then. So just give us an idea about how many balls, do you know, I don't know whether you know this, how many balls are actually in that lake? Because I imagine there's a lot.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, when it was icy a couple of weeks ago, they were very worried because on the Sunday they were down to the last 1,000 balls, and they thought they were going to have to close the driving range early on the Sunday.
Yeah,
And you say it was icy. Does the lake ever ice over? Has that ever happened?
Yeah, it does.
So if it gets really cold, the lake will completely freeze over. And last time it froze over, there were at least 35,000 balls just on the surface.
And then you're hitting shots which are skimming across the ice,
Yeah.
then, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it was really cool because if you've hit one, like if you like full power it, you would see it land, but then it would like if it was like on the Sunday it was thawing out, you could see it just smash through the lake, and like you could just see the crack just going across the lake.
Now, also, I don't know whether you've seen these types of videos at all or not, but in the US Masters, before they play in the tournament, they play the 16th hole and they try and skim it across the water. Have you ever tried to do that, whereby you've gone close to the edge of the water and tried to skim it across? Have you ever tried that?
Now, not trying to, but I have done that on the 9th of Blythe. There's this big like pond of water that, unless you want to go round like the slim edge, you've really just got to try and get over. And I tried once just going hybrid. I was maybe 50 yards away. Normally I'd lay up and just take like an iron over, maybe like a pitching wedge. But this time I just said, no, what, I'll go with hybrid. And this was like a couple of years ago, and it barely like missed. I'd say 20 yards out from going onto land, and it skimmed and just reached just outside of the red stakes.
So that's Josh talking about his experience of playing with water on the range. I mean, that's something that I've never seen. Have you ever seen that, Ian?
No, I haven't. But how much fun does that sound when it's when the lake's frozen over and you know what you're going to do? You're going to try and smash the ice, aren't you? That sounds so much fun. What have to be? There must have some sort of there must be some sort of mechanism or tool that they have to collect the balls out of the lake. I guess I don't know, but yeah.
Well, and also the water doesn't do anything particularly good to the golf balls. So you would assume that you have to be collected pretty quickly, because otherwise it would ruin the golf balls. But who, as far as if you're a golf club owner or you've got a golf range or whatever, and you're thinking about how can we make our range more exciting, how brave that person at that particular golf club gone. Tell you what, we'll put some water right in the middle of the driving range, and we'll make them hit over that.
It is exciting. It is kind of cool if you don't mind the cost then of having to go collect all, because like you said, yes, okay, they're only range balls, but they still cost the club money. And if you've got 10,000 range balls at a golf club, you're going to recoup every day. You're probably going to lose a few out into the wild every now and again. But most of those, you can just bring them back and you're going to get a decent amount of use out of them before they start to crack and start to split. With those, your lifespan of balls is going to be significantly reduced because of the water. Yes, you can still use them again, but I imagine, like you said, it's not going to do them any favours. However, especially when there's other options as well, Steve, the range is a big one for me, because you've got places like Topgolf, for example, as we know, where you're hitting targets and you're playing other games. I go to a range, I take my boy to a range up near called Golfplex in Bracknell. And it's really, really good up there. And they've got a Crazy Golf as well. And it's a dinosaur theme one, but they also have the driving range. It used to be Blue Mountain Golf Club, but that went about 5 or 6 years ago. It's now housing development, but they kept the range, and they've also got Crazy Golf there. But the range is really good fun, and they have everything set up. And you play things like Go Fish. So you'll hit the ball, and then you'll depending how far you hit it, you get a prize of a fish, and you get certain points, and then you can play an actual golf course if you want on the range. And it's all electronic, but it obviously picks you up with like flight scope and stuff like that. So there's so many options to have fun out on the range. It's not like it used to be, where you used to have, you would just have your mats, you would just have the bit of wood split in the bays, and you have your 100 balls and you just hit them out, and you've got the 50-yard mark at 100-yard, 150, 200, 250-yard markers, and that's it. Nowadays, even at a bog standard range where there isn't Topgolf and you've got stacks and stacks of people on top of each other in the multiple coloured grass and turf and whatever, you can still have an awful lot of fun at the range. And it's the next step up. That is the step to get kids to start hitting the ball properly. Do you know what I mean? Without the risk of, Well, it doesn't matter because we're not on a pitch in park, which might be a little bit too much for you. It might not be, but you're not going to have the pressure of going onto a big course and upsetting members and that type of thing.
We are running out in the podcast, but just one final thing. I know you're very big on this as well, but on ranges as well, bring in a little bit of music and bring in a little bit of entertainment as well. That helps as well, doesn't it? Attract people and also makes it a bit more interesting when they are there.
My biggest bugbear in professional golf, is when you have to stay silent for a shot. All right. Now, I know that's been how it's been forever, but it winds me up because I'm like, if you are the best of the best, are you saying you really need silence to play a golf shot? Like, you go to watch football and it's a penalty. And if you're facing the away fans or the opposite fans,
they always keep quiet. Yeah.
You're in for a barrage of it. And it doesn't matter. But we went to basketball the other day. We went to watch Reading Rockets the other day. And it's just noise. And every time that the opposition have a penalty, there's the PA announcer actively encouraging people to put him off. Stand up, they go, way, and do all this sort of stuff. And I think golf fans are it's still a respectable sort of thing. I don't think you would quite get it. We don't want waste management, the Phoenix waste management scenes, because that's gone too far. But I do like the live golf side of things where it's still respectable, but you're allowed to have a conversation. You're allowed to make noise. It's not like, we've got to stand here dead stiff whilst we wait for McIlroy to take a shot. It's and this is why having music at ranges is great. I've seen it before with England Golf and the under-18s. They have coffee vans there. They had music pumping out on the range. Get people used to playing with noise around, because this whole thing where you got to stay silent, I'm like, you're supposed to be top of the top. You're a top athlete, and you're telling me because somebody's walking past with a pint that you can't play your shot properly. Do me a favour. Do you know what I mean?
Right, now we've spoken about lots of different ways to make golf more fun. We haven't talked about competitions at all, with the exception of a little bit about the night golf competition, because we're trying to get people to get them into the game. Hopefully, if you've been watching this, you've got a few ideas about how you might be able to introduce it at your golf club or your driving range. If you have a son or daughter who might want to play the game, there might be some options there whereby take them along, try and introduce them to the game in this way. And we can say with a fair degree of certainty, it will be fun for them, because it will be no pressure. It will be, no one really cares. I'll give an example with that crazy golf there. The hole whereby my friend was going up and down, and the maximum shots on that hole was 6.
Yeah.
So after 6 shots, you stick a 6 on your scorecard and walk on to the next hole. So it's not like impossible.
That happened a lot, did it, Steve?
That was the only hole. That was typical, isn't it? And then guess who got it in 6? And he took about 8 or 9. And I looked at the rules on the scorecard. And you have to put it back to the 6. I'm like, great. That was my one chance of catching him up. Anyway, there you go. Not that I'm bitter, of course, Colin. But yeah, look, we've covered lots of different subjects within this. It was a podcast which we needed to do, because we needed to do one just about fun elements to the game of golf. The word fun will get mentioned on many, many occasions on the podcast and weeks and months ahead. But obviously, we wanted to do one specifically on those particular subjects. So we hope you have enjoyed it. So just some podcasts coming up. We're going to do one on Girls Golf Rocks and Golf Rookies. This is a new scheme, or Golf Rocks has been going for a few years, but Golf Rookies has been one which has been introduced by England Golf recently. We're going to do one junior golf academies as well, golf camps, and also one on the mental side of the game as well, about how to improve junior golfers' mentality on a golf course. So different subjects, perhaps a little bit more serious, but at the same time, we're going to try and keep it fun as well, as we always do. But thanks very much for watching this evening. We shall see very soon, and hopefully the weather will improve. We'll actually have some golf competitions to talk about at some point as well. So
probably not, but you never know.
Probably not. No, probably not. Have a good evening. See you soon. Thanks a lot.
Bye.